I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Go ahead and do a roll call. Mrs. Harden?
Here.
Ms. Heredia?
Here.
Myself here. Secretary Terrazas?
Here.
And Vice President Guadiana?
Here.
Okay, that moves us to board norms. Number 1, actively listen to all perspectives.
Close the loop, responding to concerns and questions as a unified board.
Model the professionalism we expect from all members of the district and community, customer service orientation.
Assume positive intent.
Be positive and responsive.
Okay, if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and flag salute, New Mexico flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Did you say Texas? You sound like one of my unruly students that likes to push the, the envelope there. As a principal? Really?
Look, that's everything. I'll have a conversation with him tomorrow.
All right, item number 2, adoption of agenda. Would we like to adopt the agenda? Do you have any recommendations?
No, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion for adoption.
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to item 3, public input. Item A, agenda items. Does anyone have any public input on agenda items? Is there anyone online?
No, not last check.
Okay. Do you want to do another check, just to make sure?
I can, and I'll check the top 4 comments.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, thank you. Okay, that puts us at 3B. Are there any items of concerns under public input? Okay, seeing none. I'll move this to item 4. Administration / principals / directors reports. 4A, supervisor of food services report.
So I see that Alma's not present, so we're gonna skip this one, and I'll add her back on.
Okay, that moves us to B, technology coordinator report.
Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Corey, at this time, the technology department, we are moving into the current school year. Due to issues with Power School and the rollover a couple of weeks ago, we are still having some issues there. Those hope to be resolved before the end of the week. Currently, we sit at 32% of our staff having completed the mandatory cybersecurity training that we've allotted for this year. And we are also moving forward with several other projects to replace equipment that is starting to fail on us. So that's my report at this time.
Does anyone have any questions? I have more of a comment. I've just heard really good things about the department and you guys responding quickly, and they said it's been nice.
Well, thank
So,
you.
Kudos to you and your team.
Thank you. It feels more like I'm drowning in a swamp of mud, but
I guess you're handling it well, because they said you're doing great.
Mr. Guajardo, do you have a question?
I'd like to start out with the comment of, it's good to have you here in terms, especially for cybersecurity. The efforts that you've made there are very noteworthy, and they give us a great deal of confidence.
well, thank you.
The suggestion I have, actually, it's really kind of a requirement that we post a lot of information on the internet. And when we have a long ways to go to catch up with
We
that.
do, and I am working on that. At this point in the school year, though, there are kind of other things that need to take a little priority to that, but the website will be up to code and up to snuff very shortly.
And I had a discussion with Mr. Corey about this, but one of the things that I think would help a great deal is you have some kind of nomenclature on the files that allows them to be sorted easily. Sometimes we have a date, and almost every time we have a date, it's month, day, and year, which will never sort well. So the configuration that's more adept to that is year, then by 2 digits, and date by 2 digits. That will always allow it to sort where we can find it easier. But just a suggestion, because when I go looking for something, board minutes, and sometimes it'll have the date first, sometimes it'll have board minutes or something, but it makes it difficult to sort. But there is a whole lot that's not on the board, on that website that we've never put up. So it's not a reflection on you. It's a lot of, especially financial data that needs to go up. And we should, as a board, we should probably discuss the public information such as the salaries to be posted on the web as well. So,
Well, if the appropriate departments and appropriate people in those departments are gonna get the information, it'll go up. That's not the issue.
okay. But appreciate your service. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Okay, that moves us to 4C, Principal of Central Elementary.
Thank you.
She already has points, by the way, because she's in Team Alterismo.
That's right.
So,
And also what they lost, what they lost.
We've had this conversation numerous times, right? Is a Bindi cheated? They were cheating the whole time. So the reason I have Ana Torres here, she's our 5th grade teacher, but she is starting her administrative license classes this year. And so she's in the ALD program with the State Department. And so just trying to get her involved as much as possible in these things.
congratulations. It's part of Mr. Corey's growing our own, so.
Yep. So I've given you a packet and just to look through. But first of all, good evening. We are thrilled to share tremendous progress and success our school is on the path of achieving this year. Our commitment to excellence is leading us to remarkable improvements in academic performance, student behavior, and overall culture. And as you can see from the scores, we really need it. This year, we have fully embraced the Ron Clark Academy method across our school. This dynamic, interactive approach to teaching has energized our classrooms, fostering a culture of high expectations, engagement, and enthusiasm for learning. Teachers are seeing increased participation, deeper understanding of concepts, and students are more motivated to take ownership of their learning. The Ron Clark method is helping us create a vibrant learning environment where every child is challenged to reach their full potential. At our school at Central Elementary, we have implemented a school-wide discipline matrix that I have included. It's in the very last page, I believe. And I have included also our 90-day dash plan. And this discipline matrix is to ensure that expectations are clear and consistent across all grade levels. So every single teacher at our school follows this discipline matrix, including specials, art, PE, everyone is on the exact same matrix. So instead of having each teacher have a different classroom discipline matrix, we all have it, the same one. This matrix has provided a framework for maintaining a positive and respectful school environment, and it was developed by every staff member at our school. The results have been outstanding as we started the discipline matrix at the end of the year last year. We've seen a significant decrease in disciplinary incidents, and students are more focused and respectful in their interactions with peers and staff. This consistency has contributed to a more productive school atmosphere. To further support our students' academic growth, we have introduced a school-wide intervention block during the last 30 minutes of each school day, and we learn from one another. And so this is something that I have learned from Mr. Samuel Saucedo. He came to us from El Paso, and he's the new principal at Bayard, and he was talking to me about this intervention. And of course, you know, you will do whatever when you're educators, thank you. You borrow, steal, whatever it takes to do that for your kids. And so thank you to him for introducing this. But this is a great method that we're now starting, and it's an intervention block that we're doing for 30 minutes at the very end of the day. And this time is dedicated to providing targeted one-on-one assistance to students who need it the most. So what we're doing is we're using exit tickets from the previous week. So on Fridays, the teachers are giving the students exit tickets on concepts in math, and then another exit ticket for concepts in ELA. Just things that they have been learning throughout the week. The kids that don't master a certain particular part, we are pulling them aside in the classroom into little groups, and I am providing them with assistance. We have the librarian, myself in the classroom. We have anybody, the bilingual teacher, anybody that does not have a classroom from 3 to 3:30 is helping us with the interventions. So this is the way we're supporting our teachers. And we also have things for the kids that have mastered it to do to challenge them, because we can't forget about those kids as well. So those 30 minutes are just for those kids. And this way we identify students who have not yet mastered key concepts. This data-driven approach is allowing us to tailor interventions to each student's specific needs, ensuring that they receive the support necessary because we want them to achieve mastery. That is our goal. We hope to soon see a noticeable improvement in student mastery of challenging concepts. This intervention block will help us to close learning gaps and to ensure that every student is on track for success. This also allows the teacher to continue moving forward with her pacing guide and not have to stop to reteach and reteach. We will be spiraling. And what I have told them is that even a month later, they could still put in the exit ticket, something that they learned weeks before, to see if they did master it. And then we could keep track that way. We also have data walls, and the students are going to keep track of their data in their student folders. But I think this is going to be a great tool. Thank you, Mr. Saucedo, for the great idea. We're hoping, because our focus and our efforts are on improving ELA and math scores, and our teachers are delivering instruction at the highest standards, and our students are rising to meet these expectations. We're also seeing increased student engagement and improved attendance as the students are more invested in their learning and eager to succeed. We're making sure that they know that they want to succeed. As we continue to implement these successful strategies, we are confident that our school will continue to thrive. Our commitment to innovative teaching methods, consistent discipline, and targeted interventions is driving our students to success. So I can't wait to see you guys at the later time when I can provide you the updated test scores. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions?
I
Mr.
do.
Guadiana, I feel like you're
Yeah.
gonna have one, so go ahead, sir.
That's
That's
okay.
why we're here, isn't it?
That's right.
Yes, sir, but I just said I'd start with you first.
Okay.
I knew you'd have a question.
Could you ask I really like the data.
Okay.
But could you ask Mr. Salcedo and others to see if they could give us the prior one, like in this case, the end of year for last year? So we could compare it to.
That is, the one I handed you is the one.
Oh, this is the end of
that
year?
is
Okay,
the-
so it's not
the-
beginning of year?
No,
Oh, it's
no.
too early?
We haven't taken the end of, the beginning of the year because as Caitlin explained, the rollover is still happening. So we're starting to get that done, but the IMESA, we're not going to do it next week.
Yeah, and I think to that end, we can add a discussion that we would have these presentations after the beginning of year data becoming available.
It's just hard to get that done in, as a classroom teacher.
Yeah.
Putting my classroom teacher hat on right now. We're barely in week 2 and we're still going over procedures and things like that. So most schools aren't testing out 3rd, 4th week of school.
Yeah,
And in
If-
all
if I'm not-
fairness, we were trying to get it all done before today, and so maybe that's why we were scheduled today. But it just didn't happen. You know, sometimes we have to just be flexible in education because things happen and they don't allow us to follow the path that we wanted to.
Yeah, and
Okay.
having that data to compare kind of gives us a better idea of the direction you're going in terms of.
Correct.
Especially
So-
interventionalists.
Right, so next time we meet, when I present to you again, I will have the beginning of the year and the middle of the year. I'll have the end of the year, I'll have the beginning of the year, not the middle of the year, but the progress monitoring, I'm sorry. Because I think the next time we meet is November 18th. So I'll have more information for you at that
Okay,
time.
so that should include the end and beginning of year, right? And that's-
It'll have the end of last year, it'll have the beginning of this year, and then all the progress monitoring, iStation, if you would like to see it as well. And since the meeting's at my school, you'll be able to see it on the wall.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Ogas.
Of course.
Oh, go ahead,
Sure.
Mr. Thomas.
So I had a question on the consequence
Mhm.
after school detention. So if a parent, a grandparent, a caregiver cannot be at the school at 4:30, how are we gonna handle that situation?
Well, I usually have a conversation with them, and it's never been an issue. They always find somebody, but if it would arise that way, then maybe we could change it to a different day or something. But you know, the best part about it is that when they pick them up, they have me to sit down and have a conversation about the behavior and about why we're just having such high expectations for our kids. And it's really making a difference because it's involving the parents, and they love it. I have not had any issues so far.
Yeah, I'm all for discipline. I know there's times where you can't stay an hour afterwards.
Right.
Or there's other commitments that other people have. so-
Right, and I did have an issue with a little boy that had baseball practice last year, at the end of last year, but the mom said, no, you misbehaved, you chose that, so now you're gonna miss baseball practice. And he never did again, it was great.
Perfect, thanks.
Parent involvement.
Parent involvement, yes, and we try to do that as much as possible.
Any update on your open house? I didn't get to make it, but did you have a good turnout?
It was great. We had a great turnout. I just have amazing parents and staff. I think I know Ms. Martinez is gonna come in here and say, no, that she hasn't. We're gonna have an argument here, but I really do have the best parents and the best staff. They're very supportive, and they all showed up. We did a huge presentation in the cafeteria. We chanted. The parents got to chant with their parents' houses. And then they broke out into their classrooms and just talked to the teachers. And it's just, trying to involve the parents as much as possible. And like I said, we're trying to also, all of us, go into the classroom to help. I'm already teaching a 3rd grade, a 4th grade, and a 5th grade writing lesson. And part of it is to bring parents in. I'm going to do author's teas. I'm going to do all of these great activities where I'm going to invite the community to come in and watch and hear what our students are writing.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Okay, that moves us to item 4D, the principal of Hurley Elementary.
Hello, Madam President, board members, Mr. Corey. Thank you for having me speak here today. Super excited about how our school year has taken off. Everybody's super excited, and we've already, got the ball rolling with everything that we needed to start off the school year. As we were talking about, our BOY assessments will begin tomorrow. We did initially have them scheduled for last week, but the rollover has caused us to, put it back a little bit. But, we know that we have to be flexible as educators, and we're teaching our kids the same things. It's part of, things aren't going to be ready all the time, but we still have work to do, and we have other things that we can go forth with. Some other assessments there's tons of assessments that they do the beginning of August. So they did start on their STAR test, which is a test that lets teachers know what reading level they're going to be at. Our teachers are doing our DRA tests, which are developmental reading assessments, and iReady was up and running today, so they were getting started on that. So even though some of our benchmarks aren't ready, our teachers are finding other ways, okay, let's run with this, let's run with that. So our dash plan is not complete due to the guidance that we got from our MLSS meeting last week. They really want teachers and administrators to take a look at the MLSS feedback from last year, as well as the MLSS self-assessment. And so that's what we're doing in PLCs. We're really going through that MLSS reflection because they want you to add that component to our dash plan. So when I come back, I think it's in October, I'll be able to give you what our school, how we're going to go forth with our dash plan. We just want to be really thoughtful about it. And we're excited because we were able to, in our schedule this year, start our enrichments a little bit later so our teachers can have either a language arts or a math block that is completely interrupted. Our enrichment teachers, librarians are also going to be going into the classrooms to do interventions, and they're super excited to work with the kids in a different capacity other than, their art and music and Spanish and those classes. So what I'm going to give you right now is just a little packet of data, so hang on. Want to include all of our data. Mr. Corey is already up to speed with this. I did go over all this data with him at the end of last year. He kind of wanted to know where we were and what our next steps were. So the data that I do have, Ms. Chavira had suggested to go over our new MESA. The data that she went over, and thank you again, Ms. Chavira, because she presented our Hurley data, and that was IMESA. So IMESA, just in case you guys don't know, IMESA is our benchmark assessments. It happens beginning, middle, and end of the year. What you're looking at is new MESA. That's the summative test that we take in March. And so we got the results in the summer, end of June. So if you look at the new MESA for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, the very first page, our 3rd grade was at 62%, 4th grade 79%, and 5th grade 50%. We're above the state and the district average on that. And then it has the prior year's data on that as well. So I'm super proud of our teachers and our students for that. Our new MESA math wasn't as much of a growth as we wanted it to be. I think we grew more in our IMESA May. However, 3rd grade, we were at 14%, 4th grade, 53%, and 5th grade, 17%. But I'm going to show you something else at the back end here shortly. Okay. If you go to the next page, so we really try to break down our data in as many subgroups as possible. So the one you're looking at now is school growth by class from BOI to EOI. And so we have it broken down by reading, math, and language arts by classes as well. And you're going to see in reading, everybody showed growth in their reading scores except for second grade. Okay, they had a decrease of 5% from BOY to EOY, but they were already pretty high. They were at 72% proficient, and they did go down to 67%, but that's still a really good amount of kids proficient. In math, you see that there's a growth in every single class as well, from beginning of the year to end of the year. And some of them, if you look at like third grade, 0% to 15%, fourth grade, 8% to 58%, and fifth grade, 11% to 33%. And then in the language arts as well, there was that positive growth. So that was really good as a school. So if you turn the page, now we're going to look at my school's SPED growth from BOY to EOY. And if you look at the left-hand side, SPED reading, you'll see that there was a 30.5% growth in proficiency, okay? Underneath that, it says average of total student percentage growth was 49. So out of all those kids, K through 5, the average was 49% growth. So you see that I broke it down, kinder, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, for reading. And then in the highlighted areas under there, it shows how many kids moved up a level. So not just growth, but how many are we getting out of risk or near target. For math, we had a 10% growth across the grades, but an average student, and that was proficiency, but the average total student percentage growth was 62%. And look at those scores in math. Like kinder grew 106 points. Or percentages, 108% in first grade. Second, we didn't have any SPED students. 36 in third grade, 5 in fourth, and 17 in fifth. So that's really, that's what we want to see in SPED, right? We want to see that they're all moving. So next page is our intervention growth by class. And so we had our reading interventionist that Ms. Heyer that did grades K1 and 2, and some third, and then Taylor in reading as well. And you'll see all those students showed growth. And then the highlighted also shows what was the percentage of them moving up a level. So I know in the early grades we didn't see a lot of proficiency and growth, but we did see that 73% grades K through 3 on intervention. And then in Ms. Taylor's, there was a 71% growth, 0% in BOY to 71% for EOY. Okay, we did have one decrease in the fifth grade with intervention. That was one student, and he just didn't perform well on that test. Okay, the next one, are you guys okay? Are you with me on all this? I get excited about our data. At risk. So these students are the kids that were in the red, that were at risk, that were below 20% or lower, right? These are the kids that are way down there. Okay. So our reading, kinder through fifth grade, like kinder decreased from, there was 33% at risk. At the end of the year, there was only 11. First grade, there was 23 at risk, then there was 20. Second grade, 17 were at risk, and then there was none at risk. Third grade, there was 54% at risk in reading, and then there was none at risk for reading. Fourth grade, 52 were at risk, and then there was none at risk. Fifth grade, 32, and then only 22. Then going to math, kinder, there was 33% at risk, 0 at risk. First grade, 38 to 7. Second grade, 17 at risk, and then none were at risk. Look at third grade, because their math scores weren't good, right, when I showed you their proficiency. But 92% of those third graders were at risk, and then 8 were at risk at the end of the year. So that's where I'm telling you, there may not have been that proficiency, but man, did we move those kids up. So that is very, very strong teaching going on. Fourth grade, 58% at risk to 11, and then 53 to 11 with fifth grade. So we're not just focusing on our high flyers, we focus on our middle, but we are reaching those at-risk kids too. So we are really doing some amazing targeted instruction. The next page is our science, which we're super excited about as well. Last year, there was 20% of our fifth graders proficient. Last year, there was 50% proficient. This fifth grade class had 50% special ed kids. 3 of those special ed kids were proficient. So we saw a great increase in that. You can see to the left side that our score was 558, so we were higher than the district and the state in our science scores. So Ms. Salcido did an amazing job getting these kids ready. And you'll see at the bottom where it says, it gives you kind of the legend, exceeds, meets below, and insufficient data. In all 3 subjects, physical science, life science, and earth space science, this class averaged the meets score in their science. Okay, the next one is our Avant data. This is Miss Senora Ardonia Pedraza at her best, and she loves her data as well. We all love her data. And so I'm not going to go through each grade, but first of all, our kinders never used to make the scoreboard. They kind of struggled with that, and you'll see that they made the board. And there's 25% that scored at level 3, 37% in Miss Silva's that scored level 3. You can see the high percentages of kids scoring at level 3 in all of those categories. So we're pretty excited. Every year, they've just grown and grown and grown. And so these kids are always ready and super excited to take their Avant test. Any questions on the Avant? That's our bilingual data. The next page is our attendance data, and this is a breakdown of our district data. And so if you look at the chart that has the triangle there, the breakdown of that is in the green. Those are students that missed, 0 to 4 days. Yellow is the ones from 5 to 9 days. The orange is students that missed 10 to 19, and the red is students that missed 20 or more days. So Hurley Elementary led the pack in the district with a 97.81% in their attendance tiers. So super excited about our kids showing up and being ready to learn. Next page is our house sorting event. We did that not last week, the week before. It was super, super fun. We did it with ducks. They would pick a duck out of the pond, and whatever color they were, that's the house that they went to. If you look through the pictures, they got to get slide certified on some super huge tarps that had water and baby oil on them to get some good sliding action going on. We had games. We had tug of war. We had spinning the bat. The kids were super excited. The next pictures are each house and their house leaders that are with them. So right now we've been talking about what are essential rules we're going to focus on each 9 weeks, and how we're going to be common with our point system. We have a spirit stick that we developed that'll go to each champ each month. Each month we'll have house activities that they'll plan. Our champs for this event was Amistad, so shout out to them. The last page is our open house. Last year we started where we decided to do a 2-day open house event. The first day is kinder through 2nd, and the third day is 3rd through 5th. And that's a lot to ask of our staff members. It really is. But our staff says, you know what, we really want to reach all of our parents. So our parents can come that have K1 and 2, and then they can come the very next day. And we wondered, are those parents going to come back twice? But we had some really good incentives for them. And so we had 171 parents, students, and staff attend both days. So it was a really good success. And I think it really helped us to start, building those relationships with our parents. And so, yep, that's what's been going on at Hurley Elementary. Do you have any questions or suggestions?
I don't have anything. Anyone else? Comments, questions?
This is awesome. This is a lot of data, and the only one, I don't understand the advent chart.
Oh, okay.
The 2.42, I have no idea what that means.
Right. So I'll need to bring you like what Ms. Pedraza has so you can see what that is. Our scores had mostly from the year before had been like 1.5, like the average score that you can get. So there's 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. I think 4s might be the highest. And most of the kids fall at novice. And you start seeing them getting into the higher ones as they get into middle school and high school. So we really want to start seeing 3s and 4s, and we're already starting to see them. And so, like I say, the growth has been great. But for my next time that I present, I'll try to see if I can find something that you can, this is just me throwing something together because Ms. Pedraza has her data, but we broke this down. I wanted something to present to Mr. Corey because we don't really share out on our event, on our bilingual. Like, where are those kids? How is our program really getting better? Are we increasing? We never really, pay attention to that. And that's something that Senora Pedraza is like super excited because we are desegregating that data. She is showing her kids. She rewards those kids that have done this. Our end of the year assemblies, she is really honing in on those kids who have done such a great job in showing their growth. So everybody's data is important. So I'll try to get better at our bilingual data. It's a little bit different than our state and stuff, but I just wanted you guys to be able to see, how we're progressing.
But if you just include a footnote that has, 1 is
Sure,
and then
sure.
5, then that makes it up.
Absolutely.
That
I
kinda
can
clarifies it.
definitely do that.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you're
But
welcome.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please feel free to leave too if you need to go have dinner with your families. No need to be here. Wait for us. Thank you.
But you have to bring some back. You have to bring some back.
Okay, that moves us to item 5, action items.
Approval of board minutes of the special meeting of July 22nd, 2024, the regular board meeting minutes of July 22nd, 2024, and the special board meeting of July 29th, 2024.
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the board minutes of the special meeting on July 22nd, 2024, the regular board meeting of July 22nd, 2024, and the special board meeting of July 29th, 2024.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. That moves us to item B, approval of the bills. I believe this went to finance. I wasn't able to attend the last finance meeting. Mrs. Harden, is there anything that came up with the bills?
Yes, I just want to thank the community member that volunteers his time to be on the committee, and thank him again. We received bills that had questions, and they were answered by Mr. Ryan. We discussed stipend bills, stipends,
Stipend.
stipend schedules, which we discussed, which we will be discussing every year, and discuss the salary schedules from administrative staff, principals, food service, etc.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval of bills.
I move that we approve the bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to item C, approval of the 2024-2025 stipend schedule and the 2024-2025 salary schedules. Mr. Ryan, did you want to speak to this? You or Mr. Corey, or? We good to go?
Well, we discussed these at length in our meeting, and there was a lot of great questions generated and a lot of great answers too, because we had, there was a lot of questions about the how. We got to where we got on some of these, and so I feel like we covered it very well during our meeting.
Any questions? Then I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move that we approve the 2024-2025 stipend schedule and the 24-25 salary schedule as presented.
Is there a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to item D, discussion and approval of a new audit committee member. So it looks like, Charlene provided us with a letter.
So just a quick update. This is the flyer that we sent out, and we had 2 people interested in the position. Charlene discussed with both of them kind of like what they needed to do to meet the criteria, and then we only had 1 person complete that, and that's the letter that you have in front of you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read it.
Sure.
Just says, to whom it may concern, I, Marissa Castrillo, am interested in being part of the Cobre Consolidated School District Audit Committee. If you should have any questions, please feel free to reach out. So she's a lifelong resident of Grant County. Her son attends Snell Middle School. She and her husband are very involved with the school and Special Olympics, and she is president of the Grant County Title Company. We just wanted, was she the former county clerk?
Mhm.
No? Okay. Different, someone? So since she's our only applicant, I feel like we should approve her. We needed a member for a while, and she's willing and able to do it. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the new audit committee member.
Point of order, it says, I don't think you need a motion. You have the authority to appoint. It just has to be done in a public session.
Okay, then I will appoint Marissa Castillo to the audit committee. We appreciate her being willing to do that. All right, thank you.
Can you make sure that she received that report as soon as possible? And signs the letter of confidentiality?
Yeah, I think we're doing new ones, and we'll have
Then,
everybody.
then
sign.
don't give her the report until she signs that. Please.
Okay, that moves us to item E, approval of the RFP for physical therapy services.
You have to do these like one by one.
Yes,
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Corey, what you have before you is an RFP for physical therapy services for SPED. They're in need for in-person physical therapy services, so we're gonna be submitting an RFP for that.
Any questions?
I have a question. Is this, are we approving, a certain physical therapist?
This is us going out and putting out the parameters, and then they apply if they want to. And so,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So generally, there's like a issue date we have projected.
Yes, I'll get that. Once you guys approve it, I'll get the packet ready and start soliciting and
Okay.
putting out.
Usually how long do you wait? I mean, like, what's the time period?
So once you guys approve it, I believe I have to advertise for 10 days, and then we get a committee. We evaluate, please correct me if I'm wrong. And then we award at their best whatever we're going for, and then we have to wait 15 days for somebody to protest if somebody wants to protest that.
Okay,
So it's kind of a lengthy process.
okay.
But I think we're hoping to have it done by November 1st, right? To have-
Okay.
And those therapists are part of our budget, salaries, stuff like that, correct?
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the RFP for the speech language services.
Physical therapy.
Oh, physical therapy services.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to item F, approval of the RFP for speech and language services.
Okay, so same thing as last time, SPED's in need for an in-person SLP services, so we'll be submitting an RFP for that as well.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the RFP for speech and language services.
Okay, do I have a second? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That moves us to item G, approval of the RFP for sign language interpreter services.
Same as before, SPED's looking for an in-person sign language interpreter, so.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the RFP for the sign language interpreter services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, item H, approval of the RFP for server and storage services.
Okay, so what you have before you, Caitlin in technology, she's seeking server and storage services for the school. To answer any questions you guys might have, because I'm technically challenged, so might be able to help you out.
So the theme here seems to be special ed. Is this coming out of the special ed budget or it's separate then? Okay. So if you could get a description of what it is you want in the earth.
Madam President, members of the board, this RFP is being presented because I do not have the time to spec and build the equipment myself. So I gave very broad specs for other companies to say, oh, we'll be glad to spec and build it for you. Our current server system is at its end of life and is beginning to fail. So we're having to replace this. This will be paid for with tech bond money. And it is just necessary for daily operation. Currently, we are dealing with a system that requires multiple $1,000s renewals every year. I'm hoping to scale that back to so that our annual renewal on the server software and everything comes in less than 10 grand. And that's what I've spec'd out here as a Windows server system that would allow us to spend at minimum maybe $2,500 a year for renewal on software instead of having to pay multiple thousands of dollars. I think last year it was like $13,000 to renew our Nutanix system that we have.
Is that the reason for the 3 years on the support?
No.
Or is that different?
No, I usually say 3 years on support simply because at 3 years, if something's going to fail, it'll have failed by then, so it's covered by support. After 3 years, just the way I've spec'd this out, which is to have one server and what's called a cold spare. It means that it's a spare that's identical to the one that we have, If something fails in the good server, we just pull the hard drive, slide them into the cold spare, turn it on, and it's like nothing ever happened.
So it's a backup. It's backed up.
Essentially. In the server and network infrastructure game, it's called a cold spare.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank God you're our technology director, because you're speaking like a foreign language to me right there.
Madam President, it is a foreign language to most people. I've just gotten really good about being able to translate that foreign language into a language that most people can understand.
I thought a cold spare was boldy.
Thank you. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the RFP for server and storage services.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, that moves us to item I, approval of the RFP for occupational therapy services.
All right, last but not least, again, SPED, seeking ancillary services for an in-person occupational therapist.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I move that we approve the RFP for occupational therapy services.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, moves us to item 6.
Thank you.
I don't see any old business. Thank you.
There's J.
Oh, Jay, I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Appointment of board member to the collective bargaining agreement negotiations. Was anyone else interested? I know Mr. Guadiana had expressed interest. Anyone else on the board interested? And I guess since I can do appointments, I'd like to appoint Mr. Guadiana to the collective bargaining agreement negotiation team.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, that moves us to item 6. There's no old business. Item 7, under new business, item A, schedule of presenters list. And this is just informational, right, Charlene? Okay.
Yeah, I know that when we discussed this in our retreat, we talked about having substantive time, and the presentation that was given today on both principles was very good, and I had some reservations as to whether that would be very substantive, but I think it proved out to be well. So I'm less concerned about that now, but as we go on and we start identifying errors with, we start areas with additional work needed, maybe that would be something that we could do more independently as opposed to commingled with 3 or 4 other presentations. In the event that we have an area where there's significant growth issues, that might have more time frame to discuss. And so we can understand how effectively it's being dealt with.
Okay.
Okay, that moves us to item 8, the finance committee report. I felt like Mrs. Harden did a great job earlier of giving a finance committee report. Is everyone okay with what she presented earlier?
Yes.
Okay. Then that moves us to item 9, our audit committee report.
Unfortunately, the audit committee report can't be as detailed because it is confidential. Until the audit becomes public information, we can't share that even outside of the committee. So with that, we did not meet in July. We have our next meeting scheduled this coming Wednesday. And we have a draft that's been given to the committee members of the special audits report. So hopefully that will be in the timeframe of being approved before we get too much into the year of turning in the audit that's due this year. This will not be for the 2023 year, and the 2022 year has been submitted, Frank? The 2022 year has been submitted?
No, they're still working on that.
They're still working on that? Okay. So we'll get updates on that after the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. That moves us to item 10, board member reports. Mrs. Harden, do you have, okay, Ms. Heredia?
I just really want to give a shout out to all the teachers, really, with the new school year. I know the first week of school and even farther on can be oftentimes the hardest, the first week and the last week. So just thank you for all your time and your dedication, and to all the custodians that spent all summer getting the schools ready. Several of the teachers at different locations said that the schools were great looking outside, great looking inside, and that's just the custodians doing work all summer long and getting them ready to look good for the students. I'm excited to see all the house stuff at all of the different locations, but I would just like to wish everyone a great year.
I kind of like to echo the same themes. Convocation was great. I'm glad I was able to attend and see the camaraderie and the building of community in the different house systems. And it was a nice break from sitting down and listening to speakers. Teachers were having fun. Teachers and staff were having fun. I think the most interesting was trying to thaw out the frozen shirt and get it on a team member, and also seeing them ride the little tricycles it was a lot of fun. So thank you to Ms. Chavita, Ms. Villa, Mr. Corey, Caitlin, everyone that helped organize. And I wish everyone a great school. Mr. Terrazas?
I just, sure Charlene was behind the shirts. Thank you. I've been waiting for 2 years now. So finally made it happen. And then just an update on, I got a couple of phone calls from constituents based on Snell Middle School head football coach. Their first game is in 2 weeks and we do not have a football coach? Is that correct?
We have interviews, so I think we have a candidate.
Okay.
We have candidates, and so we're definitely in the process and going as fast as we can.
Yes.
Trying to get the candidates was the trick. So there's a little bit
And it's
of
hard, there's a bunch of openings, you're right.
recruiting, yeah, there was a little recruiting going on there.
We are interviewing, okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Terrazas. Mr. Guadiana?
I echo the concerns, the comments made, but also want to talk about the commitment that coaches and everybody had throughout the summer. There's sessions that started at 5:30 in the morning and ended at like 9 o'clock, and then there was other ones that went on after that, and some even in the evenings, but there was a major focus on getting students ready, and it was a great time to do it because, number one, it doesn't interfere with their classes, but it was hot for those that were on the outside. But that's a tremendous amount of effort. That's an incredible amount of time that people take, and I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. That moves us to item 11, our superintendent's report. Item A, Summerfest / convocation / beginning of the school year.
I just want to echo, we've already talked about a few of these already, but the start of this school year has been remarkable. The energy, and as you can see, the administrative staff, their excitement. We had our first principal meeting last week, and it was just an amazing environment. So I'm just excited about where we're kind of set up right now and where we're headed. We have a lot of amazing people on board, and, I feel like everybody's going in the right direction. So I just wanted to kind of echo that we've had an amazing start to our school year. Excuse me. So down to B, if you guys look in your packets, this is really neat. The Gila Regional Medical Center is planning an evening, which I thought was just amazing. And kind of the story behind this is they want to do a donation of $300 to our high school.
$3,000.
3,000, sorry, how many zeros there? And for all families to be able to come to a game for absolutely free. And so I spoke with Mr. Ryan earlier, and I said, how much usually is our gate receipts? And they're usually somewhere between $600 and $700 a game. So this, if you think about the significance of how much more this is amazing. So I wanted to share this with you because things like this in our community just, I think, just shines how amazing our community is and the support we receive.
Is this something we could coordinate with Coach Martinez for homecoming? 'Cause that's a big festivity for us.
Or the,
I don't-
Either that or Cobre Silver.
that's what I was gonna
Or
say,
Cobre
Cobre Silver game. Are we
So,
hosting it this year?
we
or-
are hosting.
Yes,
Yep.
second game of the year.
That would be amazing, and then that's a huge, for both communities. So we can reach out and see, I think we were getting to pick, correct? Yeah.
And can we do a handwritten thank you note, please?
Well, we will, and then I was thinking, we talked about a banner too, that if we could do something for them to, you know, help support them in their cause
Yeah.
as well.
Sponsored by.
Yep. So, I'm gonna steal a little thunder here since Alma didn't come this evening. If you look at the next thing in your packet, these are kind of hard to come by, but this was our audit that we received through our food service department. And, this is just letting us know there was no findings and that we've met standards of, you know, across the board, all federal and state regulations, national school lunch and school breakfast program, all those standards were met. And so, I know neighboring districts struggled with this one a little bit, so I was super excited that, we were able to come through and have a perfect evaluation. So I just wanted to share that one with you. And then last, in your packet, so kind of the story behind this is I asked our facilities to reach out to see if we needed to do anything for zoning to work on these buildings that we have here at the back of the, here at the admin facility. And so one of the problems across the board in our community is having housing available. And so I said, you know, go check and see if this is even a possibility. What I did not know was, you know, there was an application process, and as you guys know, it came out in the paper that we applied, and of course it was approved by the city of Bayard. So I just wanted to bring that to you to give you an update. So what I've done is I reached out to Priscilla Lucero, and we're actually having contractors come in and give us bids to transform those facilities into small apartments, so we would have 4 of those. And there's finances available for this to happen. So what I'm gonna do is, once we get the bids, then I can take that information to Priscilla, and then we'll reach a funding source. There's different ones available, and we'll try to get one that matches, and hopefully get approved for that project, and then we would kick that project off to be able to transform those into 4 units that we could provide for our staff members as housing opportunities. So they wouldn't be fancy. All of them have bathrooms now, so we'd have to do a little conversion in there to get showers in there as well, but probably a little 1-bedroom, little apartments. But having something available is a huge start for us, and hopefully would help attract people to come to the district, where sometimes we currently have people now struggling with housing still that are employed with our district. So I'm hoping this project goes through and works, and maybe we can reach out and start doing more once we get this one done, because we've talked about even bigger projects than this. So I'm hoping this is a good kickoff for 4 units.
I love the idea. Thank you.
And it was one of those, literally driving to work one day, and I looked over and I'm like, what are we doing with those? And we put a lot of money into them. I mean, they have good roofs on them, they AC, heating, like all the hard part's done. So, you know, they have water, internet, all the things that, you know, would help in that scenario. So I think a little bit of remodel on the inside and they'd be ready to go. I literally could say this with confidence. If they were available today, I'd have all 4 of them done that fast, that people would take them that quick. So, and, you know, I think that's a big problem in our community, and they're trying to address it on a whole as well. City of Bayard and all of them are working together in many different avenues. So this was kind of a way that we could help out our staff as well as helping our community as well.
I think it's an outstanding step going forward, but I hope that you can get some more area for a yard, for a place for them to sit on outside and kind of get that better, especially get rid of the wire.
I just wanted to talk about the concertina wire around the
Yeah.
top. I was like, we're probably gonna need to take that down because, we want it to feel a little, homey and not feel like you're going to, to prison or something. So we walked over and looked. These are the little things. There's 7 spaces, parking spaces there right now. And according to standard, we're supposed to have 8. So there's supposed to be 2 parking spaces per unit. And there's literally not enough room. I asked them, can we do motorcycle parking? Because
That's
there's one little
exactly what I was
strip right in the
gonna
middle. And so we're checking into that. I think we can get a little variance on that to, we'd still be okay with the 7 that we have. My joke was going to be their stop sign's in the way, so if they want to move their stop sign, then we could maybe get that extra space. And so, of course, I was just giving them a hard time joking around. But I think we'll be okay getting it approved with the 7 at least on the parking. And then we'll see how the quotes come in for the remodel, and I'll keep you updated as the project progresses. But it would be great to have something available for our staff members. And we have some staff members that actually travel some very significant amount of distance, and to, just have a place that they could even stay here during the week, and then if they go home on the weekends, I think that'd be super beneficial as well, so.
Is there a time limit
On,
on the contract, what's her name? Did you-
Priscilla?
Priscilla.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit on that?
No, so, I called her the other day and I just said, what are the steps I need to do? And, just kind of make sure we're going in the right direction. And she said, once we have the bids, then I can submit a proposal. And I think we've already talked about different avenues of funding. So I think there's funding available, and I think it could happen pretty fast.
So long as we don't have to choose between a 2-inch pipe and a 4-inch.
How many months of discussion was that on what size pipe? So that concludes my report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Corey.
Yep.
I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second?
We're adjourned at 6:07 PM.